Hello, I'm Captain Jim Plover, a member of the ALPA MEC Negotiating Committee. The purpose of this video is to update you on the Retirement Research Project and introduce some retirement concepts that might be new to you. As part of our research, the Negotiating Committee and the Retirement and Insurance Committee identified the potential to turn an obstacle into an opportunity as it pertains to our retirement plan. What I'll cover in this video is first, why it was important to undertake research related to our existing defined benefit plan, and then briefly cover the way our current pension plan accumulates benefits. Next, I will introduce the concept of a variable pension plan with emphasis on stabilizing aspects that are particularly important to our members. I'll cover the two broad categories of variable pension plans and also touch on variable pension plan funding. I'll cover retirement plan risks from both the pilot and company points of view and discuss possible mechanisms to transition from our current plan to a new plan design. Finally, I'll talk about thoughts related to how we proceed with this effort. The first question you may have is why we have even undertaken this effort. We started the research and development process in April of 2016, and we considered all aspects of our current plan design. Like you, we realize we have a good defined benefit plan, also known as the A plan, but with an earnings cap that limits the pension computation. The cap has not kept pace with inflation, and our pay rates have surpassed the negotiated cap. Defined contributions have been improved to lessen the gap, but we have experienced IRS limit saturation also as a result of our pay rate increases. The second side of this equation is the years of service cap, currently set at 25 years. We have experienced a significant demographic shift as a result of the regulated age change, and our own surveying indicates a large number of pilots who will reach or surpass 25 years of creditable service, with very few pilots retiring early. The bottom line is that there is no improvement to your pension benefit for any service beyond the 25-year limit. As you are well aware, a Section 6 negotiation is an expensive and complicated process. The ability to negotiate an improvement to our particular retirement complexities allows for concentrated focus on this critical issue. The evolution of various external factors affecting the implementation and management of defined benefit plans may have created an opportunity that we should capitalize on, if at all possible. Emphasizing increases to only defined contribution plans burdens the pilot with additional retirement assurance planning and doesn't adequately address risks, particularly related to longevity. Additionally, with the existing pension in place, with no cost of living increases, the replacement ratio, or the percentage of your defined benefit payments to your final earnings, is eroded significantly over time. When our pilot demographic earned $260,000 or less, the pension provided a 50% replacement ratio. But when our incomes began to exceed $260,000, the replacement ratio fell below and continues to fall every year our compensation increases. As a point of fact, current new hire replacement ratios over a career will average between 17 and 21%. Of course, this considers only the benefit received in the defined benefit plan. The current research and development project is only evaluating a change to the defined benefit plan, an improvement to the current plan. Given the regulatory and economic environment, our focus is now on variable pension plans. It is important to understand that any change related to your pension plan will not affect the defined contribution, also known as the B plan. Another vital consideration is that there will be no change to any previously earned benefits in the existing plan. The anti-cutback statutes prevent this, and there will be no changes to pilots that are already retired and receiving benefits. All vested service will count toward the new plan in the transition. So how do you earn or accumulate benefits under the current plan? In general, you receive the greater of two formulas, although some pilots have additional multiplier increases due to prior CBA provisions. With the first method, your final average earnings, or FAE, is multiplied by 2%. That result is multiplied by your credited years of service up to a maximum of 25. It is important to remember that your final average earnings cannot exceed the $260,000 cap. The second method is known as the flat dollar formula. This method is an annual computation based on your aircraft and seat position and your hours flown. At this point, you might be asking yourself, what is a variable pension plan? The history of variable pension plans dates back to 1953 and was actually a plan component of the Flying Tiger line for a time. The original design was a fully variable plan that changed in relation to investment performance. This design proved too variable, particularly in volatile market environments. In 2014, the IRS completed regulatory changes that allowed plans to adopt stabilization features that provided some smoothing to benefits. The smoothing utilizes the basic framework of a variable defined benefit and eases some of the market downside. 2014 also produced the IRS opinion letter opening the door to the first plan's introduction. As you can probably tell just from this presentation, there are many ways of describing a variable defined benefit plan, which are mostly related to marketing by pension plan design firms. With respect to the possibility of a variable plan at FedEx, it would maintain the diversity of retirement programs by mixing with our existing defined contribution plan, which helps to balance risk. A variable plan shares risk between the employer and the employee, provides benefit growth even in volatile market conditions, removes the burden of investment decisions from the employee, and provides contribution stability for FedEx. Contribution stability from the employer resemble defined contribution deposits, but still provide retirement income to participants that you cannot outlive. In relation to our existing plan, what the variable plan provides is some inflation protection during benefit accumulation and may provide protection during retirement if selected. For reference, some collectively bargained units in Major League Baseball, the newspaper guild workers, hotel and restaurant workers of Unite Now, and others have embraced the variable defined benefit concept as an important component of their multi-pronged retirement plans. There are two very broad categories of variable plans: variable benefit and variable accrual. With a variable benefit plan, the accrued benefit can rise or fall relative to the fund's assets compared with a hurdle rate defined in the plan document. In a variable accrual plan, future accruals change based on the funded status and performance of the pension trust in the prior plan year. Both types of variable benefit plans require a portfolio management philosophy that minimizes risk and optimizes returns given the demographics of the participants. It is our intention to obtain governance participation as a partner with FedEx in order to have greater influence over investment and vendor decisions moving forward. Variable plans are not an insurance or annuity product. Variable plans do have PBGC endorsement and protection and have the added benefit of remaining fully funded in nearly all market conditions. In order to fund the proposed variable plan, FedEx would remain as the plan sponsor and fully fund the plan no matter which option was selected. This would be expressed as a percentage of total pilot payroll, which would be a negotiated feature. Again, from the company's point of view, it would be similar to the way our defined contribution plan is funded. Both variable plans can calculate benefits based on career average earnings or on a flat dollar formula. So what are the risks? Both the defined benefit and defined contribution plans have risk. General risks include longevity risks, how long a population will live, investment risks, risks associated with inflation and corporate interest rates, legislative changes, and of course the possibility of bankruptcy. Our risks are effectively spread between the two types of plans in our retirement program, but can vary significantly by individual pilot. To touch on inflation risk a bit more, and to put it in perspective related to our own defined benefit plan, a $130,000 benefit in 1999 would have to be more than $190,000 in 2017 to maintain the same purchasing power. The purchasing power of $130,000 from 1999 today is approximately $89,000. The Bureau of Labor Statistics provided this graph to demonstrate the effect of inflation on a notional $1,000 benefit at various inflation levels. To demonstrate how the various risks impact the employer and employee in a traditional defined benefit plan, this illustration depicts the magnitude of both interest rate risk and investment risk borne by the employer. As a practical matter, contribution requirement increases can result in wage freezes, reductions to other benefits, or plan freezes if contribution increases are large enough. While not shown here, the volatility of a plan's liability is significant and can produce wild changes in contribution amounts and also affect the funded status of a plan. The PBGC also has a role to play in the risk comparison as they charge a variable premium to those companies with underfunded plans. Conversely, in a defined contribution plan, all of the risks are borne by the participant. In a variable defined benefit plan, the balance of risk is shared between employer and employee. Inflation risk and interest rate risk is minimized, while the employer retains the longevity risk associated with a given employee demographic. The participant takes on the investment risk. How would we transition from our existing defined benefit plan to a new plan? The new plan would be established as a completely separate plan for pilots that are not retired. Pilots would begin accumulating benefits in the new plan. Retired pilots would experience no change to benefits. New hire pilots would all begin in the new plan, and there would be no change to the existing defined contribution plan. Again, there would be no change to the existing defined contribution plan. Significant consideration has been given to pilots on long-term disability, and those details will be forthcoming. Where are we now in the process? In the last few months, we refined our options, working closely with our consultants at Chiron Incorporated. That analysis identified issues that need to be addressed, and work continues on the details. The investment and stochastic modeling Chiron provided continues, and we are able to manipulate the plan's features in real time, as well as stress test the inputs against various market conditions, both historic and forecast. The education process is just beginning, and we have enough detail to initiate an in-depth educational experience. Our conceptual presentation to the company occurred on October 31st and was well received. The company indicated a willingness to listen to our concerns and ask poignant questions related to plan design and the protections we seek. It is important to note that no negotiation took place during the meeting. It was purely an informational meeting that introduced the concepts in order to gauge the company's interest level. What can you expect moving forward? The education is just beginning and will require some level of effort to fully digest the concepts and plan details as they emerge. You can expect additional surveys, and we ask that you participate in the survey if contacted. The incoming call will be from the New Hampshire area code 603. There will be no negotiation without the specific authorization of your elected representatives on the MEC, and any resultant agreement would be in the form of a letter of agreement. The letter of agreement would require a full pilot ratification vote as well as approval by Alpha National. You can expect access to modeling in order to fully evaluate the potential impact to your own personal situation and circumstances. We want this effort, and ultimately any decision, to be based on an objective and data-driven approach. Our goal is not to sell anyone on any potential change, but instead provide the facts, answer your questions, and give you the opportunity to make an informed decision you are comfortable making. Should the project come to a close without an agreement or vote, retirement changes would be addressed in Section 6 negotiations in 2021. We respectfully ask for your assistance by remaining engaged and informed during this ongoing process. Ask questions, get answers, and make comments. Your input is vital to this effort. Your negotiating committee remains steadfastly committed to improving the retirement outlook for our membership. Thank you for your attention.